and Vinny Goodger. Give it up for them, please, ladies and gentlemen, your defending champions. So they're just going to get themselves prepared and organised. I've noticed, okay, there's a very good reason, and this is new to me. See these wee things down here I'm just kicking? That's some brakes, okay? That's how fast and furious this gets, folks, okay? They have stapled those presses to the board. There could be like a little bit of rugby going on, okay? We haven't got a lot of room to move. And we're aiming for a 170 kg bale. That takes a fair bit of pressing. I can tell you that. I'd like to say a big welcome to Carl Cox and Peter Cox. You've upped it. 180 kgs, are we going to fit that in here? No wonder you've strapped these down. Right, let's just get that clear. 180, Gordon boys, 180. 180 kgs, that is the most we've done for the last 2 days. 180, fellas? No, didn't even flinch, did they? 180. Saying it 3-4 times because I'm a wee bit surprised myself. I've seen these presses bursting with 160, 170. Okay, are you ready? You want some action? You right, fellas? Presses, on your marks. Get set, go. All right, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be very, very difficult. 2 Masterton sets of teams, 2 brothers, okay, sets of teams. So instinctively, you'll see this. Instinctively, they know where each other are. They don't have to talk to each other. They're bloodline. Okay, you'll just naturally do this. I'll naturally know where you are. And that's how it's going to unfold. So these are some of the exciting things. Of course, Vinny goes for the wool. Why would he do that? Because look at the size of his arms. He has a massive big wingspan. And he starts loading that press up. These boys are really, really quick. Jeremy Goodger. He's putting in the capless pack there. One step for Vinny. Just smoke that. Those young fellas over there. Here we go. That was a super, super handful there by Joe. Oh! Jeremy says, I've been missing the limelight. He is back. One little hop and into the press he goes. How many armfuls did he put in there? Just the one, folks, okay? And he was already onto the tramp. There's Adam. There's Joseph. They're loading up both sides at the same time. Up goes Adam. Joe said, come on, young fella, get in there. You're my older brother. You heaps of power in there. Get those legs going. They've got to squash the corners, okay? They've got to get those corners down because that bale has to sit on its own when it's pulled out later on. At 180 kgs, it's going to sit there, all right? It's not going to go far. And you're going to need 2 people to pull this baby down. No doubt about that. So here we go. Over there, it's still Adam in the press, and he is not just tramping it and stepping up and down on it. He is pouncing on it, okay? A big pouncer. See that? Up on the frame, down we go. Up on the frame, down we go. You got to drive it in there. Here we go. The crochet needles are out. The knitting needles are out. Start the big motor. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. That's worth a round of applause. Look at that. There's lots of Ks there. Lots of Ks. What you can do, I can do the same, Jeremy. That's what Joe's thinking. Here goes the youngster. The power, the brute strength, and that's a super handful as well. The Gordon boys, the Goodgers. A replay of last year's final. Now, what's happening time-wise? It's 1 point every 20 seconds, folks. So the person that's going to be off here first, they're going to save the time points. What are these judges that I welcomed up before, what are they doing? Well, they're looking for safety aspects of the pressing, okay? So these presses will have longevity in the industry, and technique, and lots of other little things that are happening around the place. And then we have the weight of the bale, okay? They've got to try to get to 170 kgs. How do they know that? They know it by under their feet, because they do this all the time, okay? They're pressing bales day in, day out. They get the feel of the bounce of the wool, and all wool is different on how much it will spring back to you. Does it suck much energy out of you? It sucks heaps out of you, okay? It's like running up a sand dune, that soft, runny sort of sand where it just keeps on falling away from you and you're feeling like a little cartoon character and it just sucks the life out of your legs. That's what happens when you're squashing all this wool in here. 180 kgs of it. That is smoking it. Obviously you haven't had a lot of beer just yet or wine. This is not going to go that long, ladies and gentlemen. So you're from Masterton. We've got 2 teams from Masterton. This is just about as good as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. Hometown brothers, sets of brothers. Right, they spin that round. They decided there was enough in there. The other backup they have, or feather in their cap, is whoever winds that box up, plan B says, yes, I think we have got X amount of kgs in there. If not, you'll see them stuffing another couple of handfuls in because they've got to be really close to this target, okay? If they think there's too much, they'll pull a little bit out. I said they won't talk to each other, but they are. He said, hey, bro, you're going pretty well. Right, what are the Gordon boys? They're going to do the big wind-up soon too. Joe says we need to get this pack down as far as we can. I'm going to jump on it. Clean up round the edges. Adam says we just need a wee bit more in there. It's 180. It took a lot of power and a lot of energy to get 170 during the semi-finals. It's 180. Just keep stamping on her, bro. That's what we want. They're on the wind-up. But hey, we've got the crank down now. Look at Vinny. Oh, she's 180 kgs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased the wine and the tuies are starting to take effect. So they should. It's time to be noisy. This is when they're really strong, okay? They need to really fire up those muscles, those fast twitch muscles, the, the endurance. They've got to have a tremendous endurance to keep on doing this. There's the stuff that I was talking about earlier, folks. They've decided, the Gordon boys have decided there's not enough in there. They need more weight, so they're filling that gap. That's what I spoke of. The plan B is, what does it feel like when we wind that top box up? Plan C is, go as fast as you can, because the Goodyear boys have hit the front big time. Any time for encouragement for the Gordon brothers would be appreciated. That's what we like. The pins have got to come out. We can't press them. Running time. Won't be much. Right. Jeremy's got to get those pins in. There's little grooves on that cap there. They slide those pins through them. If you haven't done it correct at this stage, those pins don't go through too easy. There's too much wool around the place, okay? So you've got to push and shove and carry on like a mad thing trying to get them through. You'll see here. Here we go. The Gordon boys are into it. We've got the young, fired, full of adrenaline, full of testosterone, Joe and Adam. Hey, ho, ho. That's what we like. Stay with it. Stay with them. Stay with them. Stay with them. That's it. Stay with them. This is their hour in need, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Oh, he's talking. Don't be so greedy, brother. Slow it down. Get it down to one click. He's saying, no way. We've got 600 or 800 people in here. Time to show off. Time to do a wee bit of hot dogging. He's thinking, hey, we'll drive for glory and we'll putt for gold. Just the nice short ones will do. Meanwhile, over here, under the radar, the Goodyears, once again defending champions, clipping up, just doing what's required. The top box is saying, holy smoke, I can hardly get off there. There's only holding about 2 or 3 inches holding me down. There we go. Jeremy said, that's good. Vinny says, I'll tidy up these corners. Presentation is, you can lose points for that, and you don't want to be losing points. Nice, good square bow. Here we go. It's claybird shooting time. Boom. Boom. Holy, they are tight. That's the hardest I've seen. That's why they strapped it down, folks. Here. He says, make some room. They would improvise because they are very skilled. They have done this a lot. They never panic. Doesn't matter what's happening. Jeremy Goodger, Vinny Goodger have put their hands in the air, ladies and gentlemen, and they deserve that round of applause. Peter Cox has a bit of a look round, says, oh, good housekeeping, boys. Right, the youngsters over here. Come on. Joseph said, get out of my way, brother. You're starting to run out a bit of sting. Get on to light duties. Get the broom in your hand. This is where you've got to let the brakes off. They might take a shortcut here to catch up time. Are they going to do it? No, they're going to let a bit of pressure off. They're thinking, we're going to do a shortcut at 180 kgs. We're going to have a rope flying all over the outfit. They let her go now. It has a huge desire to come out of there. Great thing, the old shearing and wool handling and pressing family. They're getting encouragement here, folks, from the Goodgers. Come on, boys. You can do it. Stay with it. Stay with it, boys. So what they've done here, because it's... See how they've swung those pins under the frame, okay? That is because that wool is screaming to get out of there. There's a lot of pressure. And wool packs are tough, okay? They are part of our sponsors. This is a Farmlands Wool Packs New Zealand sponsored event. And they have sponsored this for a lot of years. They are a long-serving sponsor here at the Golden Shears. And it tests the packs out, all right? And it can start ripping, so they lock it down, because 180 is a lot. And the other thing that Farmlands and Wool Packs New Zealand have done is we had the novice, started with last year, the inaugural year for that, novice pressing, to get these youngsters involved. And they just took that on, said, yeah, we'll do that as well. So they do all the pressing, right through. Pairs, singles, novice, ladies, the whole shooting box. They're a major sponsor here and we appreciate it immensely. Right, back to the pressing now. He's locking her up with these staples. Once again, claybird shooting, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have a go, now's a good time. Well, I think we'll go for a bit of a double rise. Boom, boom. Come on, we want a boom, boom, madam. It's Joe in there. They're starting to look like brothers now, all right? I'm getting them mixed up. Both getting a bit red and a bit sweaty. Tidying up the corners. Time points, 1 point every 20 seconds. Bale weights, I'll cover that in a wee minute. All right, you've had half more can, another half a glass of wine. Let it go. Let it go. Joe said, have you branded the bale? Oh yeah, oh yeah. He said, I've done that. They'll go and shake hands as they would. They've done battle. It's like a good game of rugby. It's over and done and finished. Now, some of the other aspects, before you do a bit of a weigh up, they've got to brand the bale, okay? It has to be nice and neat and tidy and has to be exactly the same as the brand itself. So this is Golden Shears A2/S 2020. If that's not correct, right down to the dot, they'll lose points. If they don't do it at all, of course, no one knows where the bale belongs when it turns up to the wool store. It can end up in my bank instead of someone else's. And that's okay, but not ideal for the farmer that's lost out. Right, we've got to get underway because Alan Pritchard's saying get these bales on here and see what's going on. I did a wee book on body language and I got a reading there. Did anyone else get that? Come on, Gerald. Stop telling stories and get on with it, please. We're looking for 180. Looking for 180, which is absolutely perfect. And Vinny Goodger and Jeremy Goodger, 181. $181. 1 out over 100 is 1%. That is probably 0.3% out. That is one handful of wool. I mean a handful, not an armful, a handful. Oh, the youth of it. Looking for 180, 187.5. The strong, the young, and the fired up. Right, she's up to the judges now. There's more to it than that, of course. If the bale was heavier than it needs to be, you lose points, but less than if it's light. all right, because there's less work to get a light bale than a heavier bale. So that's how it sort of rolls. Well done, Vinny. Well done, Jeremy. Well done, Adam. And well done, Joe. Good work. Give them a super round of applause as they go and towel off, ladies and gentlemen, and grab a cold shower. On that note, sit back.
Wow, that was a pressing final to blink and scare the pants off you, Doug.
Indeed, these guys are the unsung heroes of the industry in many ways. I've worked in that job many, many years ago. I can only just remember it, of course, but yeah, no. There's the wall stacked up there.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, that 180 weight is probably a lot more closer to industry practice. And, you know, they've often had weights here of 150, 160, but to take it to 180 in that pairs, I thought was pretty fantastic. And how cool, two sets of brothers, the Goodger boys and then the Gordon boys. So we'll wait what those results are. But Doug, we were going to talk a little bit earlier about a bit of a recap of the day today.
Yeah, indeed. We didn't quite get to the veterans, of course. We had, as I did mention that Hugh McCarroll had won the
Yes.
over 76s, 53 years after he won the intermediate title here. So it's a pretty good span. We had Peter McCabe, another one from Bay of Plenty. Interesting, we had those two guys from Bay of Plenty where there's not a lot of sheep around Tauranga anymore. But Peter won the, was it 66 to 75 years. And Dave Brooker, who's the current manager of the New Zealand Trans-Tasman team. You'll see him up there tonight with the Woolhandling team after the test match. He won the 55 to 65 age group.
Yeah, no, so that was a pretty cool recap of the evergreens. We had Rose Puha, who won the Woolhandling, and then we were privileged enough to have Hugh come into the stadium, into the green room here, and give us a chat about, you know, some of the memories he had and how wonderful it is to have his whole family here this evening. So it's kind of nice to be able to park that now, Doug. It's about heading into the oh, sorry.
Heading into the top 30 shootout. There's a big feature of the Friday night for the last, God knows how many years now. Well, 5 heats, 6 people in each heat. It's only decided on the points once they're all added up at the end, so it doesn't mean the winner of each heat, for example, goes through or anything like that. We see from the qualifiers today during the heats, there were 87 took part in the heats.
Wow.
During the day. Excellent number, one of the best numbers for many years. And of course, man out in front, Rolly Smith, you know, paying $1.16 at the TOB, and they appear to have that right on the button at the moment. 2 points clear at the top of the table from the heats, just almost in another class. That word has been used a few times today. It's interesting to note that out of the competitors to shore, there were, I think, 13 that have been to that final before. There was only a couple of them that have missed out qualifying in that top 30 at this stage. We've got all of the winners of the last decade back to when Cam Ferguson won it in 2010, but of course Cam isn't here. But basically there's 4 previous winners of the Golden Shears Open Championship out there giving it a crack at the moment.
Doug, is there any surprises or any surprise miss-outs? Because, I mean, you know, sometimes that's where the biggest shock kind of comes from. Oh, my goodness, so-and-so missed out.
No, at the end of the day, there's some very good shearers that you might say are in the top 50 in the world. Some very good ones that have missed out, but basically all the current form guys. I guess there's one that's been in the final 2 or 3 times in just recent years, Murray Henderson, but then he hasn't been doing a lot of shearing at all.
No.
And he did make a final at the weekend, and it, without being too unkind, it did show that he hadn't done a lot of shearing lately. So, I mean, I guess on that basis it wasn't a surprise to see him not make it, but as we know, Murray's a very consistent shearer and one of those sort of guys that can pop up at any time. Like so many of these other characters, very few wins. Outside of the top 4 or 5 guys in the country, there are guys doing enormous miles every summer, knowing that really they're more looking for someone to miss out on the day than their own form. They can shear as well as they can, but there are times they're still not going to win. Yeah,
and I guess that's just a repeat of where we've been too. I mean, I remember when David Fagan kind of really, or Sir David, really dominated the circuit, and, you know, you turned up hoping that he would make a mistake rather than anything else. So, you know, it's interesting, isn't it, how it all works around again.
Yeah, indeed. I did a bit of a calculation the other day amongst the top 4 guys in terms of number of wins around the country at the moment. there's about 320 odd wins in open competition. If you think that these guys, top guys, do about 25 competitions in the summer, that's sort of 13 and a half years of wins in those top competitions between them. So it doesn't leave a lot of room for anybody else.
No, some great stats there, Doug. And did we have many women coming through these open grade at all?
No, we've had obviously Emily Welsh shearing today.
Yeah.
But I think she was the only one shearing in the open heats today. Mainly, there's a few good ones that are performing well in the lower grades as they usually do.
Yes.
That standard is coming up every year, and we are going to see a woman probably, I would say, in the next 4 years or so, we are going to see someone break out of that grade and start being really competitive in the open grade.
Yeah, because there was some talk very earlier on about this is one of the few sports where women and men compete in the same class, if you like. There's no differentiation because with gender.
Yeah, and indeed, and you're seeing people share records at the moment that are quite phenomenal. Tallies that would never have been dreamed of years ago. So you had Pauline Belay doing that record back in around Wairarapa in December, and the 4-stand later on in late January there, just phenomenal. Megan Whitehead doing over 600. Yeah,
and now I see we've got Marie Preble from the UK also planning a record. So, it's all starting to become a little bit more normalised, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where if you've got the ability and the speed and everything else, and you're starting to get the motivation, well, really the world is ultimately your oyster. If you've got the whole package together, we say here to win a Golden Shears Open final, you've got to have the whole package, the top 2 inches, everything you like to win that title, and then more and more people are switching on to that sort of factor.
Yeah, right. So as we wait now to the top 30, it doesn't look like it's too far away. Just want to remind people we've also got the Trans-Tasman test coming up, and Aussie's pretty competitive. We've got Aroha Garvin in there. She's been an outstanding competitor over the years, so looking forward to what that's going to bring as well. And then, of course, the blades. How wonderful to be able to have the blades on a Friday night here.
Exactly, and seeing the current world champion out in Oldfield. We all know won that title in France, beat the Africans, which was a real big effort back in July.
Outstanding effort, yeah. Okay, Doug, thank you very much for giving us that bit of a rundown. I think let's join the stadium and see how it's all going to pan out down there.
Yeah, I'm sure the next hour or so will be really exciting.
Ka pai. Thank you.